Sirius and our possible origin from this star system, according to what ancient texts claim. Since ancient times, man has looked at the sky and tried to count the stars. Today, we know that the number of stars is large but not infinite, and a sharp-eyed observer can count as many as 25,000 stars when the atmospheric conditions are good enough. But the immensity of the sky, even under the light of modern knowledge, is a given and has always caused and still causes awe in man. For this reason, after all, knowing the stars and constellations and invoking them with specific names creates in man a feeling of security and satisfaction. Many of the star names we'll study are Greek names, and the Greeks were perhaps the first to give names to star clusters and create star catalogs. For this reason, we can state with certainty that the history of astronomy began in ancient Greece. We must not forget that according to mythology, the Greek god Hermes was the first to notice the order of the things of the sky and to calculate the arrangement of the stars and the intervals of the seasons. The first clear reference to even a rudimentary knowledge of the names of some stars and constellations comes from Homer, specifically from the epic work Iliad and Odyssey, written in the 8th century BC. In the Iliad, describing Achilles' shield, Homer names the Pleiades, the Hyades, Orion, and the Great Bear. He also likens the glittering helmet and shield of Diomedes to the autumn star, hence Sirius. Sirius as son of Orion, due to its position near this constellation, is also used in similes concerning Achilles and Hector. In the Odyssey, there are references to all the above stars and constellations. For example, Bootis. Also in the epic, we find a clear reference to the ways of the sun. So from Homer's reports, we can conclude that early in the 8th century BC, some constellations, but also some celestial phenomena, were known to the Greeks. Various stars were named and even considered so familiar that they were used in similes involving gods and men. Perhaps the planets had not yet differentiated, since there is no evidence of this, but it should be emphasized that there is also no evidence to suggest that this had not happened. On the other hand, there are many indications capable of convincing us that the correlation of the state of the sky and the passage of time on Earth was widely known, based on observations. At the same time as Homer, or a little later Hesiod, in his book Works and Days, also mentions many constellations which the farmer has to consult for his daily activities. For example, he recommends that harvesting begin when the Pleiades rise and sowing when they approach their sunset. Hesiod mentions all the stars and constellations that Homer had named, making special mention of Sirius and Arcturus. In the Works and Days, there are also 3 references to the solstices. A rumor even says that Hesiod also wrote a book exclusively about the constellations, which was lost like many other of his works. We should point out that Sirius is the star mentioned in all the religions of the world under the name Sirius, Surya, Sur, Shir, Osiris, etc. From Peru and Mexico to Australia and Japan, and from Iceland to South Africa, a tradition has lived for thousands of years, despite attempts to eradicate it, to remind man of his relationship with a distant star, and how the God King's settlers brought the seed of life to this distant planet of our galaxy. An attempt that will be made to correlate the life of the Earth with the mysterious star as convincingly as possible based on the evidence from the traditions of the peoples of the Earth. These people, despite the huge distance of the star from the Earth, hence according to astronomers 8.8 light years, surprisingly known a lot about the star, which was the object of worship of the ancient peoples. Sirius was the starting point of the gods who settled the Earth without excluding the participation of more distant stars. Starting point of the gods Sirius is considered and not any other star. This is justified since on a global scale Sirius was the object of worship, a worship that dates back to the appearance of man on Earth. And despite its enormous distance from human data, Sirius is a very close star for cosmic data and the gods. And we can listen to the celestial bodies that make up Sirius star system and information about them, and according to the latest scientific data. Sirius A is a star of enormous dimensions, sun giant in relation to the sun of our solar system. It's a very bright star. It has a radius of 1.5 times that of the sun. Its mass is 2.5 times that of the sun, and 35.5 times its brightness. It has a surface temperature of 11,200 degrees Celsius, as much as a distance of in kilometers between the pyramids of Cheops and Yucatan, Mexico, but also is the escape velocity of bodies from the Earth's gravity in meters per second. Sirius B, it is a heavy star, a white dwarf, is white in color, and is invisible to the naked eye. It was just discovered in 1862 with a powerful telescope, and I emphasize this here because it will be needed below. For 50 years, it's covered by Sirius A, and its invisible period is another 50 years. It's 65,000 times more dense than our Sun and has 95% of its mass, while it is 10,000 times darker than Sirius A. Sirius A here is on the right-hand side, and that other Sirius B, the lesser light, is on the left. Sirius C is in the middle. So Sirius B is a heavy star. Sirius C, the unknown star, astronomer Fox claims to have seen Sirius C in 1920. It is 4 times lighter than Sirius A and moves like Sirius B, but has a satellite E, which is the planet of the inhabited system, and from which the colonization of the Earth began. This planet is completely influenced by the companion. The 50 years of the Synod period are perceived in Greek tradition. The existence of Sirius was known to ancient cultures before they were discovered by modern science, as evidenced by ancient texts and ancient performances. The strange of the whole case lies in the fact that Sirius B and Sirius C are not visible to the naked eye, which requires the existence of a lens and telescopes or some other technological achievement to establish their existence, or some contact of our ancient ancestors with extraterrestrials, and why not their possible origin from them. The Greek letter E existed on the front of the sanctuary of Apollo, god of light, in Delphi, and connected the divine choice of the place with the race that worshipped him. The divine race of the Greek roots are in the sky of the star of E of Sirius. If we take the orbit of the constellation Sirius B and connect it with its 3 limit positions to Sirius A, the giant star of the system, then we have the image of the Greek letter E. The 3 positions chosen are limit positions, east, west, zenith of Sirius B, because they are defining points of its visible orbit around A, which lasts 50 years. The last divine settlement of the Earth was made by Jupiter in 25,000 BC, and it started from the star E of Sirius, which the Dogons call the star of creation. Coincidence? Impossible. If it had not been given to them, there was not 1 chance in 1,000 that they would know it. The Jupiter star mission and Star City had to show their launch star and had to be the dominant image of the security and identification purposes. The USA sent the asterisks to the moon, the EEC the flag of 15 stars, each one representing a state. The star E of Sirius had as its emblem 8 or 6 epsilons, which contributed to the center of the Gita A. Thus they declared the starting point of the Star Society of Sirius. When NASA in 1972 launched Pioneer 10 for a journey to infinity and time, it placed the following plaque with the following information: schematic representation of two hydrogen atoms, image of a man and a woman in human clothing, the solar system with its planets, the starting point and course of the spaceship. 15 rays starting from the center and 14 are marked. Please leave your comments about this and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.